All right, it's easy to get excited in the preseason, especially when you see teams starting to click. And one of the teams that was talked about a lot this offseason, Tyler, was the Chicago Bears. And what does Caleb look like? What does this Ben Johnson led offense look like? A lot that still remains to be determined, but they came out this weekend and I mean, Caleb had one opening drive, 97 yards on that drive, looked sharp. And the question here is, what is this offense truly going to look like, right? There's talks about how the line is getting better, could be worse. The offense, Caleb wasn't accurate in practice, and now he looks sharp. You got Romo Dunze, who could be the one. You got DJ Moore, who's there, Luther Burden. A lot of toys here for Ben Johnson to work with. But I think for fantasy, we haven't really seen that with their ADP. You have the highest ranked Bears player right now is being drafted is still DJ Moore. And I think it all starts with the quarterback position. It starts with Caleb Williams. And for me, I think Caleb Williams is that guy. He will eventually become that person. But we saw a lot of inconsistencies out of him in year one. And that's been my biggest question mark is he ready to take that next leap? Are we giving him the crown too early? He came out this weekend, Tyler, and had a session. Is this preseason game one? We're just kind of believing like, hey, it's preseason, or is it like, all right, it's time to start believing Caleb took that major step?
Yeah, with preseason, I mean, it's always tough just because it is preseason. I don't even know if were there starters on the defense side of the ball for I don't even know if Buffalo had. Maybe they had some start. It looks like maybe they had some starters out there. So you always got to take it with like a grain of salt, but it's one thing. Like what I would always say is you want to be able to trust your process, and then just have like stuff that happens in the preseason reaffirm your process, or also be willing to kind of change it. Now, not drastically change it, but this is a situation where, for me personally, like I just think all the pieces are there for Caleb, where I think there would be much bigger concerns after this year if Caleb does not look the part than if Caleb does look the part. I wouldn't be as shocked with all the changes that they had on the offense side of the ball. So, I mean, he looked great, but also he did look great last preseason. I mean, he was making some really good throws on the move, some really good ball placement. So it's nice to see. And I know like some people have always have brought up like, oh, he's throwing interceptions in training camp. He doesn't look as great. Like I don't care about that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff I don't worry whatsoever. So it's nice to see, but this still has to carry on into the regular season. But I like the Bears anyways. Like I'm already a believer in the Bears offense going forward this year. So it was nice to see, but it doesn't really change anything for me.
The thing is with preseason, like you get teams trying different things out. We don't know what kind of coverage Bills were trying out in that game. Obviously, the Bears in preseason training camp, we've heard mixed things about Caleb. So I think the talent is something you can't question. I think seeing that kind of driver, like, okay, at some point, Caleb is going to be that guy. I think consistently is the biggest question that I have. Can we get that on a regular basis? Because in order to put him in this top 5 to 10 quarterback territory, which I think everybody's kind of expecting that leap, we need to see more of this at a consistent level. And so Ben Johnson, new offense, like I don't think it's the end of the world for Caleb Johnson to have some struggle, or Caleb Williams, excuse me, to have some struggles early on. But what I do think is if this is a new offense, there are some moving pieces here. There are some young components to this. We got to see what this looks like week 1, week 2, week 3 before we start crowning Caleb Williams. I think he can get there. And I mostly think it's going to be year 3 where we probably see a better version of him that's more consistent, another year in the offense. I think there's going to be some growing pains this year, but one of the things is you can't let hype take over everything, right? Especially like we talk about this receiving room. Like the receivers here, Rome only had, I don't even know if he had a target this weekend. You got DJ Moore had a couple targets. A lot of Zacchaeus is the one who got the touchdown from Caleb. So Luther Burden had a couple looks. Cole Kmet had a couple looks. Like they're getting everybody involved. How do you feel like this receiver room is going to shake out? Because I think that's probably one of the biggest things here. DJ Moore's the first one off the board. We got Rome goes a little bit later. Luther Burden goes a little bit later. There's been some hype about a lot of Zacchaeus. How do you feel like this receiver room shakes out?
Yeah, I like it. I don't know exactly. I think DJ Moore is the best one right now. Obviously, he's going the highest. But I will say I loved Rome Odunze coming out last year, and I mean he was a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up playing a big role in this offense as well. Also, like I think Colson Loveland can be. He had a couple targets in this
You
game, a
like
couple
him?
of catches. Yeah, I like him for where he's currently going. And what I'll say too is like it's not like these guys are very expensive. I mean, they're honestly kind of cheap for the potential that this offense has. Once again, if Caleb Williams does take this step, because everybody, he's looked at as a generational quarterback coming
Yeah.
out and everything. So, and who knows? Like it could have just been a bad year last year. Him not having to watch film or whatever all the bullshit was last year. Like it just wasn't a good situation. This could be a complete 180 for this offense. So I like him. If I had to pick one, obviously I pick DJ Moore because I just think he's the best wide receiver, but in that room. But also I did really like Rome, and I wouldn't be shocked if maybe they're not going to be like high end assets at their positions, but they could be like maybe Rome's a mid to back end wide receiver too. And currently, I think he's going even later than that. He's going like the 7th round right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, super
Colson
late.
Loveland's going as a back end tight end 1. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he's a back end tight end 1 this year. So I don't mind where these guys are currently going.
The way I think about this is we have a brand new offense. Obviously, a team, you talked about the draft capital that's been invested in 3 players that are in that receiving core, you can call it, in Colson Loveland, Luther Burden, and Rome Odunze, right? For me, I think about it like this. If DJ Moore is staring you down, you're at like wide receiver 20 range, wide receiver 22 range, and DJ Moore is staring you down. My thought is this: what are the chances that he actually finishes as a top 15 receiver where you draft him at versus what are the chances that like Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, somebody else in this passing game takes a bigger leap forward? And I kind of just think DJ Moore's on the wrong side of that this year. I just don't really see a need. If I'm Ben Johnson and I'm coming and taking over this team, I want somebody who's going to be with me for years. You drafted Burden. You got Rome at least for the next 3-4 years. You drafted Colson Loveland. I kind of just think DJ Moore's on the wrong side of this like receiver room, to be honest. So I think for me, the one I would want is Rome. I've talked about that a little bit. And I do have some concerns with like Colson Loveland kind of being a good tight end in real football, especially rookie year, when you have a guy like Cole Kmet who's been a good tight end for years now for this Bears team. I don't know if they're committed to him, but I think he's going to be a good resource. So I look at what they did this weekend, and I take it with not a grain of salt because I think there's been some strides and it'll probably look really good at times this year. But I do think it's going to be kind of a mixed bag for fantasy owners. I feel like we're going to have trouble sometimes with like, is DJ Moore the guy? Is Rome the guy? Is Luther Burden the guy? Is Colson Loveland the tight end? Is it Cole Kmet? Is the ground game? Is Caleb even being consistent? A lot of question marks for me about this Bears offense. So I don't know. I don't know if I can get there quite yet with the Bears, especially because we don't know exactly what this thing's going to look like moving forward.